We are now going to begin our media availabilities for today. We have been joined by Chase Elliott, driver of the number 9 Napa Auto Part Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports. Chase, thanks for joining us today. We'll go ahead and open it up for questions. If you have one, please raise your hand and we'll get a mic over to you. We'll come down to the front to Bob.
Bob Hawkers, Fox Sports. Chase, last week after your accident, obviously your car caught fire, and I'm curious if you guys, do you know what caused it, and was there anything, I mean, we saw, with the previous car after a big wreck, you could see a fire too, but I'm curious with this car, if you've seen anything that concerns you.
I mean, yeah, seems like it happens pretty easily, but yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, to your point, we would, with the other car, and you'd have wrecks and cars would catch on fire then too. So I'm not exactly sure what, caused that. It, obviously happened really fast, and then it was on fire really quick. And it had blown the brake line off of it because I didn't have any brakes. So I assumed that, it was probably pumping brake fluid in there. I don't know if that was potentially making it worse, as I was trying to get stopped. I don't know, but yeah, it happened really quick, and I'm not sure what the culprit really was.
We'll come down here to Jeff.
Chase, you said earlier this year, and you tweeted again this week that, with the new car, we should never go backwards in any sense in any area. Given the circumstances and the state of things now, where as drivers do you want to see things go from here? It seems like maybe a long process. I don't know if there's a quick fix. What happens now?
Well, I don't feel like we should have ever been in this position to begin with to need to go forward. We should have gone forward with a new opportunity at a new car, in my opinion. I mean, you have all these years of experience and knowledge and time of racing and crashing these cars and teams working on them and building them, and it just blows me away that we can have something new in 2022 that offers all this technology and all this time and experience of so many just super talented people in this sport, and we allow it to go backwards, especially with safety. I just think it's just super surprising to me, that we allow that to happen, but we did. And, now it's just about how do we go forward from here, making sure we're making the right choices to improve what we have and keep things like, what happened to Alex this week from happening. I mean, and what happened to Kurt, those things just, those types of incidents didn't result in injuries in the past handful of years from just me watching. Obviously, I'm not a doctor, but watched a lot of cars back into the wall, and those guys be fine. So I just hate to see that, and no one's immune to it. It could be me, next week, or it could be any of my peers or fellow competitors, and nobody wants to see that, no matter how much you like or dislike a guy, in my opinion. So yeah, I just hate to see us go backwards, and I'm afraid that we have, in some of those areas. But look, it's just about how do we come together and how do we go forward from here. And I think there's a lot of really smart individuals to try to help make that happen, and I'm confident that we will. But it's crucial that we do, in my opinion, because having guys out during the playoffs right now or any time for that matter, shouldn't be happening, and I think it's taken away from our product on Sunday, which that should be the focus, and who wins and who loses, and how the race was, and how a guy did driving his car, and how his team executed a good or a bad race.
We'll stay down here with Jordan, and then we'll go to Claire right behind us.
Jordan Bianchi, The Athletic. Do you and other drivers feel powerless in this kind of process? And I ask that because you guys have voiced your complaints for a while now about this car, and nothing has moved in the direction that you guys are happy with. So I'm just curious, do you guys feel like you're, just kind of spitting in the wind?
No, I mean, I think they're, there's probably more of a process now, I guess, and more of a group, now to potentially voice, some of those opinions and try to get them across, probably than there's ever been. You can say and voice those thoughts, and that's really kind of the end of it. It's not our sandbox, right? So at the end of the day, we might have an opinion or might try to voice it and do it through the correct channels, but ultimately the final decision is not up to us. Yeah. So from me personally, that's kind of where you leave it, and you can just hope for the best, because it's like I said, it's not our sandbox, and there's really not a whole lot we can do about it. Yep.
We'll go to Claire and then come down here to Dustin.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. NASCAR is supposed to have a crash test in Ohio next week. What kind of communication are you getting? That was planned roughly a month ago, I think, before some of this happened, but a lot of this has been expressed. So what kind of communication are you drivers getting on this, and are you hopeful that that will lead to something? And then are you guys banding together? There's so many rumors out there about what the drivers are thinking at this stage.
I haven't heard any of the rumors, and I haven't heard much about that, that particular test. But I mean, heck, we had plenty enough time to test this car and crash it and do all the things that we need to do to ensure that some of these things aren't happening that are happening now. We had a ton of time to do that, and this car was delayed an entire calendar year. On top of that, you got to think we got an extra year of time to work on it, and we're still in this position. So there's no excuse for going backwards. We have too many smart people, too much technology, too many years of crashing and racing at all these same racetracks to have some of the things that are going on that they are, in my opinion. So, test next week or no test next week, we should not be in the position that we are in. When you come out with a new product, you should take steps forward, not stay the same or go backwards, and especially in the safety category, in my opinion. Look, it's yeah. And look, don't take me the wrong way. We're very fortunate, and I'm very grateful to do what I do. This is this is my job, and that's crazy, right? I mean, I'm not ungrateful for what I have and the opportunities that have been presented to me, but you just hate to see something take steps the wrong way.
Also, obviously a lot of frustration, and we're sensing it not just from you. What would be the right thing right now? What would make, given that this has happened and everyone's very frustrated, and I don't blame you, what would you want NASCAR to do right now? Right now, is it something you want tomorrow? You want, what would take that frustration away?
I'm not really sure that you can really do anything. Obviously last week was a bummer, right? Just for the sake of the entire race and all the guys that wrecked, myself included. I didn't really feel like we did anything wrong, and unfortunately we were punished for it, along with a lot of other drivers and teams. But I don't really know what you do today. I mean, it from Texas last week to Talladega tomorrow, I'm not sure what is realistically feasible to have that quick of a fix, right? I'm just disappointed that we have put ourselves in this box to begin with. It's not realistic to change something in 6 days. I just hate that we put ourselves in the position that we're in. I think as an industry, we're smarter than that. And I know that men and women that work in the garage on these race teams are smarter than that, because I work with them every day. So I just think we're better than that. And we shouldn't be where we're at right now.
We'll go to Dustin.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. Chase, obviously, as you mentioned, this is in one sense your job, but I'm curious, when you have two drivers get hurt like they have in the last few months, and now you're at a track like here where you're going to probably at some point have to do some risky moves. How does that impact you, or how do you look at this weekend in the sense of what the potential is and what's been happening from just a personal point of view? I don't strap into those cars. I don't have to face those risks, and I'm guessing it's maybe a little bit more increased for you. Or how do you view with what's happening coming into this track?
Yeah, I mean that's a tough one, right? You know, and I'm not really sure what the right answer is, but yeah, you come off a week like we had at Texas, and somebody getting injured, then you're coming to here where, you know, odds are we're probably all going to hit something at some point tomorrow, and probably not lightly at that, you know. But do you just not show up? Do you just not run? I mean, I don't think that's feasible to ask. You know, there's always an inherent risk in what we do, and it's always been that way. You know, my frustration, as I've referenced here, you know, in the past few minutes, is just I just hate that we put ourselves in the box that we're in right now. It's just disappointing that we've put ourselves here, and we had the choice. You know, we did this to ourselves as an industry, and that should have just never been the case. You know, we should not have put ourselves in the box that we're in right now. So my disappointment lies in that we had, you know, years and time and opportunity to, you know, to make this thing right before we put it on track, and we didn't. And now we're having to fix it. And I just hate that we did that, because like I said, I think we're smarter than that, and I think there's just a lot of men and women that work in this garage that know better, and we shouldn't have been here. But as far as, you know, the race goes, unfortunately or fortunately, however you want to look at it, you know, you got to go and do your best to try to win and do all the same things that you would do in the past to give yourself an opportunity to win the race. And I don't really see that you have, you know, a ton of choice other than just to try to trust in the process that things are going to get better, and hope that we're taking steps in the right direction, and we're doing it in a timely manner.
And also, I'm curious, obviously, with your situation, your family, you know the history of the sport so well, so you have a little bit more knowledge than maybe some others, but you are a part of a generation of drivers that, you know, for the most part, hasn't had to worry as much about safety, because the sport has had a, knock on wood, a very good safety record for so many years. What is this period like in having to maybe address this, or just kind of look at this issue more than I'm assuming that you've had to look at throughout most of your NASCAR or much of your racing career?
Yeah, I mean, obviously things have gotten better over the years for sure, and you know, there's been a ton of gains in how the cars were built, and taking. I feel like in the past we always, as an industry, and even from the outside looking in, before I was a part of it, I feel like, you know, if they weren't on the forefront of something happening, you know, they took those experiences that they had, and they made it a lot better in a short period of time, and that has been going on for years. Granted, there's been some bad accidents, and we've lost drivers over the years, and nobody ever wanted to see that. But the safety aspect has improved and gotten better and gotten better and gotten better, and I feel like NASCAR has been super on top of that in years past. And that's why I'm just so disappointed and shocked that we went backwards when we did, especially in this day and age with all the things we have access to and whatnot. That's my point, you know. And I'm not going to say much more than that, other than just I'm disappointed that we put ourselves in the box that we're in. We're better than that. We shouldn't be here. We had plenty of time to build this car the right way, to crash test it the right way, to come out of the box and hit the ground running, put on a great show for the people watching. Let that be the story, and you know, put the best foot forward to keeping drivers from getting injured as possible. There's always going to be risk, and that's part of it, and we all accept that. We're all very grateful to do what we do. I certainly am very lucky, whether we're in the position that we're in or not. So don't take me the wrong way, but I just hate that we got ourselves in the box that we're in, because we shouldn't be here.
We're going to take one final question from Kelly up here in the front.
Kelly, CrandallRacer.com. So Chase, given everything that you just said and emphasized over the last couple minutes, and how the industry is smarter than this, so how did this happen? How did we get to this point if we had all of this time to build this car? And as you said, people are smarter than this.
I don't know. You tell me. I don't have a good answer for you on that. I really don't. That is what baffles me. I have no idea how we got here. I don't know.
All right, Chase.
Cool.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Good luck this weekend.
Yep.